see.
Okay,
It appears
fantastic.
that we're
Okay,
live.
fantastic. I was a little worried. Okay, so welcome. Thank you, Precious. Sorry for the little delay at the start. I couldn't see myself I couldn't see us on LinkedIn. So, yeah, welcome, and welcome to everyone. We will be starting right away. And of course, my name is Ola. I'm the founder of the Money Meet Club. And with me today is Precious. Precious is a fantastic member of the Money With Club. And we just decided, Money With Club is three, yay. So we decided to have like this session just to talk about the challenges that career people have. And that's why we're hosting it on LinkedIn. Now, Precious is the DG of John Odigie Oyegun Public Service Academy in Edo State, Nigeria. And she has a fantastic career. She's built a fantastic career in education. She was formerly the head of youth engagement and learning at Jobberman. And she was able to implement some programs and some efforts around the $25 million Mastercard Foundation project, which was aimed at upskilling 5 million young people and to place 3 million of them in dignified work in 5 years. She's also a curriculum design expert, and she is the creator or was the creator of the globally acclaimed Jobberman Soft Skill Curriculum Program that is available on Coursera. She's done amazing stuff in the career space, and we thought that she would be the best person to talk about um, what's it called, finance career, and then I'll talk from the finance perspective. So yeah, welcome, Precious.
Thank you so much for having me, Ola.
Thank you once again. And so we'll just go right to it, right? Just want to know, from your own experience, right? Can you share a little bit of your career, and the milestones that you hit, maybe money, career milestones, right? And then tie it to this team. Is it actually possible to build career without building wealth, in your own opinion?
Yeah, so I'm going to just start by sharing my own story and then make it relatable. When I started my career, I'm a passion driven person. So anybody who knows me very well knows I only do things that set my soul on fire. When I left investment banking and decided that that was not, helping people manage their money was not for me. So I can't do your job, Ole, that's for sure. I had to go back. I went to England to think, okay, what is it that I want to do? I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew what I didn't want to do, which was investment banking. I didn't want that at all. So I went to study innovation, management, innovation, and change because it sounded broad enough to contain all of my interests. But there I found out that I am really good at facilitating. And I just knew, like I knew when I was a child, that I wanted to be a teacher. So that was the first thing. So, okay, how do I come back to Nigeria? How do I think through building a career in human resources, but specifically learning and development? So I came and I did that. But you see, because I was so carried away by, my passions and all of that, it didn't matter how much I was being paid. As long as I had the kind of job that made me happy was fine. I wasn't thinking too much in my early days around building wealth. I wish I was. I didn't understand what financial literacy was. So I was one of those people who people are buying shares, you go and buy. And that's why I'm so terrified of the stock market, Ola, till tomorrow, because I got terribly bonds because I didn't know what it was. They tell me it's rising, I go buy, and they were just offloading to me. So in terms of building your career and then building wealth, if you're not intentional about wealth building, it's very possible. And I found this. I mean, at some point by 2018, 2019, I was, doing training across Africa. I was training for multinational companies, etc. But I wasn't building wealth. Shocker, shocker. So it's unless you are intentional about building wealth, it's very possible for you to have a very exciting career, look good on LinkedIn, and still come home to zero naira. It's possible.
Hmm. I love that last statement. Look good on LinkedIn. Look good on LinkedIn. And I mean, it's something that I have also experienced. And I mean, apart from my own, I wouldn't say that because I have always been a personal finance investment type person, I didn't get caught. But I have loads of stories around that. I've had people that have joined the club, and I mean we'll talk about the Money Week Club later. People that have joined the club and their profiles are amazing. But we usually do like a profiling thing. How much do you have? How much is your, like, your, what's your income band, and then what's your savings band? And there's such a far cry between how much they have, they earn, and the amount in their savings, right? And I mean, these are confidential numbers. So when you see someone who has like a 10-year career, so that it's not just even your the amount you're earning today, but the things you've earned over that period. When you have someone with a 10-year, 15-year career, and they have less than 1% of their current annual salary as savings, then you know that there is an issue, right? And that's what we are here to talk about today. The idea is, if you're a career person, this should be like touching your heart, that yeah, they are talking to me. That's the idea, right? So, and I love what you ended with, looking good on LinkedIn. Yes, look good on LinkedIn, but look good in your accounts, yeah, at the same time.
Very
So we'll go on
important.
to the next question. Right? So what would you say? Can you share the mindset or the career mindset that people need to ditch? I mean, you've talked about your story, right? And the fact that you were doing looking well, looking good, you're progressing, you're doing things around the world. But um you were not making money, or you're not building wealth, right? What do you think drove that? There's a mindset you had. So can you just highlight a couple of things that were running through your mind?
I think for me, the core one, or the root belief was, I couldn't link making a lot of money with being a kind person. So I had a limiting belief that I had to deal with. I felt like, most people were very wealthy in this part of the world in particular, got wealth by not, following the process, and then they had to cheat people, etc. And because it didn't align with my own personal values, again, all of this was on a subconscious level. I wasn't consciously aware that I was thinking that way. It took a lot of work for me to realize that. So I had that as the root belief. That was one. Another thing was, I wasn't thinking long term. So for
Mm,
yes, I wasn't thinking long term. So someone comes and then they say, um, for example, there's this agricultural based thing. If you invest X, you will get X. There's always a lot of those sort of things. And then I'm like, okay, how quickly can my money turn into X?
triple.
Yeah, how quickly can I triple it? Swell up like Ijebu Gary, for example. And then they tell me, oh, this is what needs to happen. And then I do it, and then you get bumped, right? So that
Mm,
mindset needs to go, because again, you will find that building wealth is generational, and you want to focus on compounding. So I learned that later. Another thing also is giving. I also found that very wealthy people give a lot of things away, and it's not just money. It's value, your time, and helping as many people. Because what is fascinating is, the more people you are willing to help, the more insights you gain. So whilst people think it's the
mm,
reverse, because most times when people come, they're looking for what to take. But a wealthy person is looking for what to give, and it's in giving you receive. So that's also something that one needs to learn, because people think, oh, I don't have anything. Oh, what am I going to give? So I think if you think through what your root belief is, limiting belief around money, think through long term cathedral thinking as opposed to rent seeking behaviors. And then, of course, give. I mean, there's more joy in giving than in receiving. So give. Yeah.
mm. Fantastic. I totally love that. And I think one thing that I realized that a lot of people miss out in long term. And I'll just point out two things. Number one, and I think we put it in the comments, in the caption for this, your pension fund is not your retirement plan. A lot of people think, oh, for retirement, oh, my pensions. But have you looked at those numbers in recent times compared to the number of years that you work, compared to prices are rising right now? So that's one thing that you need to ditch, because there's this thing that, oh, I'm working, therefore my pensions will sort me out, right? But that also dovetails to another point. You are going to retire one day. as much as you work, you are the best person in your team. There will be someone that will come out to outshine you, just, and you really want that. That's the truth, right? But if you don't put the right things in place while you are working, I mean, think about it. Let's say you work from 25 to 60, and then you pray to live till what, 90, 100, 120, right? So you worked for what, 25, 30, 35 years, And you need the money that you're building in those years is what's supposed to fund you for another 30 years. And it's supposed to beat inflation, right? And it's supposed to maintain the quality of your lifestyle, right? If you are not thinking like that with every paycheck that you get, you're thinking wrongly. Your thinking is wrong. Your orientation is wrong. Your spending patterns are wrong. There's just something wrong somewhere. So those are the two things I will highlight. One, you're going to retire one day, regardless of how much energy you have today. You're going to retire one day. And then two, your pension fund is not your retirement plan. It can't work. It can't work at all.
Okay, so perhaps a question for you, Oler. You know, we've used the word. I mean, people talk about riches, people talk about wealth, and sometimes we use it interchangeably. People say, "Oh, it's better to be rich. It's better to be wealthy." What is wealth?
Hmm. So I think that's a really good question, and it's actually very thought provoking if you stop to think about it. You've already told us that you were earning, you were doing well career wise, but you were not building. So wealth comes with the mindset of something that is built to last, right? Something that is designed to handle shocks. So I say that you are wealthy when you have enough money to fund your lifestyle today and fund your lifestyle tomorrow. Maintain that same lifestyle against shocks. Why? Because there'll be shocks. There'll be things that will happen that you did not expect, right? So what do I mean by that? You have investments, but you also have insurance. Why? Because if you have a health situation, or maybe I can throw the question out there. If you have a health situation and you have $1 million in your account, you are rich. Yes, you are rich. But the bill for the health situation is $999,000. Would you spend the money on your health, or would you keep the money and say, I need to save this money, right? But guess what? Apart from having that $1 million, if you spend 2,000 or $4,000 on insurance, right? The insurance will cover that bill, right? And you will still have your 1 million. So the difference between someone that is wealthy and someone that is just rich is that the person that is wealthy is secured against ups and downs. Is not just about the money in your account, but the security that you have. So think broadly. When it comes to wealth, think broadly, think long term. It's not just about making money. It's how that money is designed to maintain your lifestyle as you go along. I hope I answered the question.
Yes, yes, I absolutely like that. I like the fact that you talked about long term, because like I said, that was something that I had to learn. And then, of course, you can have a lot of money. That example you gave around health was very telling because I'm thinking $1 million is a lot of money, and then, of course, if you have a health problem that is already, almost $1 million, then you realize that it's not as much money as you
As you
thought that it
thought.
was. So that makes
Exactly.
sense.
Exactly, exactly. Fantastic. And I mean, let me ask you one more question, right? Because we said 15, 20 minutes for this. You have a successful career. You've like, I mean, I should have even taken time. Like, she has a 2-page profile. And you mean after this, also go and check out her profile on LinkedIn and follow her, right? And also follow the Money with Club's company page, right? I didn't mention. But you have a successful career. Why did you think that joining the Money Week Club was something that was necessary? And then what investments make you smile? I mean, we've done a couple of stuff since you joined. What investments make you smile when you think of them?
So I think for me, I understand the power of community. I'm a community builder and I function very well when I'm in a community with like-minded folks. So the instant I started to learn about money, of course, the next thing was to implement it, and I started to implement the things I had learned. And then where do you find people who also think like you, so that you're encouraged to continue to build wealth. So my good friend, shout out to Zuzu. I call her Zuzu, but I'm sure Zuweria, most people know her as. And then, she came to me and said, "Oh, I'm part of this club. I'm part of this community. I think, it would be a good fit for you." I went and I checked you online, asked a few questions, found that I knew people who knew you. Very important. And so after doing my,
Really?
oh, yes. So after doing my due diligence, which I didn't know about before, which I know about now, that you must do DD, I joined the club. What am I excited by? In the next 10 years, I think one of the things that I'm going to be very focused on will be real estate. I am very
Mm,
passionate about affordable housing. I want to
Mm,
democratize that market, if you like. So I'm very happy that I've started to play in that market. I'm happy that it's no more just a thought in my head. It's something that I've started to implement, and I want to do more. I have so many dreams of helping single moms in particular find the house
mm,
of their dreams. So yes, I'm very
mm.
excited about real estate
Fantastic.
investments. Yes.
Yes, fantastic. I mean, and I was also I was particularly excited about that deal. I know the deal you're referring to. For those that want us to pepper them small. So we were able to do an introduction and a handshake, and we're able to get properties. We have members in different countries in the world, the US, the UK, and we brought people together, and individually we're able to pick up properties in East Africa, which was very exciting for everyone, because Africa is the newest frontier. We expect these valuations to go up in time and all. And I feel you, because I mean a lot of people are so excited about that deal in particular. So for me, let me see. Why did I start? So you can't be why did I join? It can be why, it will be why
When
did
did
I
it
start?
start? Yes.
Why did I start the Morning Way Club? And it was quite interesting because I started with having a YouTube channel just to share my knowledge about investing. And I think what you said, there's a statement you made around, oh, you started learning, how do I implement? And I started getting this call for, oh, Ola, how do I implement? How do I implement? Where do I start from? And then I would just tell them out of, oh, you just do this. It's just so simple. Like, Ola, this thing you're saying that is so simple. It's not as simple as you say it is. Like you make it seem so easy, but I would never have thought in this direction. And after much prodding and all, I just started a community. I just said, okay, let me just start with 20 people. So we started in 2021. And I mean, this series is part of us celebrating the fact that we are three. And we started in 2021 with 20 people. And we've had, and what we do basically is that we have webinars, learning sessions, which corroborates what you say you learn. And then the next thing is, how do you take action? And so my job, based on my experience as a finance executive, with over 15 years experience in structuring deals, investing and stuff, I just bring all that to the table. Just that I'm not doing it for corporates anymore. I'm doing it for individuals. And so I'm structuring deals. I'm finding opportunities for people. And my greatest joy is, number one, when people invest in their first stock. I'm like, oh my goodness, for the first time in my life, I just bought a stock, or I just got my first dividend, or my first property, like you just said, very exciting for you. And it just gives me that joy when people come into the club, for lack of better word, clueless, and after a while they begin to talk. When I say they begin to talk, we are talking about stock market, like, but that doesn't add up. But and you say, see this first, where you joined. You're like, oh, what are you people saying? I don't understand. But I'm like, give it time, ant in the water. And that's what we've seen over time. And I mean, exciting investment for me. We've done movies, we've done 3 movies. Um, one a year, 2021, 2022, 2023. We did one movie deal each. We've exited two, and we exited them profitably. And they were exciting. We've done interesting things like wine. I don't know if you were in the club when we did wine. Were
No,
you
I
there? When we
wasn't.
talked about wine investing, that opportunity is always there, and it's very exciting. And I mean, it was in the news at some point that some guy bought maybe like wine for like maybe $100, and they sold it maybe $80,000 a couple of years after, right? And I'm sure you just be thinking, what if I bought like 10
And
or
not.
20? But of course, it's
Yeah.
risky. But I mean, these are the little interesting opportunities that we bring to the house. And maybe I should talk about the plans for this year. Of course, more real estate. Of course, more stocks. Of course, more bonds. We're not high risk. We're not all high risk, please, people. We balance it
Yes.
out, but and we think long term. And I think that's the most important thing. We're not doing get rich quick schemes. We are doing due diligence. I mean, on the transactions, we'll get lawyers to review. People would bring their own ideas, people their own thoughts, their own concerns, and we tick every box before we make a move. Because I mean, we don't know, we don't have a crystal ball, but at least let's do what we can. And I mean, the next step we're discussing before we started this call, we are doing business tours this year. We're going to we're going to Kenya, and most likely Namibia. Kenya is sure next month. That's very exciting. And then Namibia later in the year. Why? Because the world is global. Africa is the next frontier. Why would you not be part of it if you're an African? Why are you just staying in a silo? right? So even if you're an African in diaspora, there's opportunity. I mean, any other questions, any thoughts, anything, any final words?
No, I mean it sounds very, very exciting, and I like you've said it a few times that Africa is the next frontier. I feel like it's almost hard to believe, but stats don't lie. If you look at the young population that we have in this on this part of the world, and as someone who is invested in upskilling, I was listening to a speech our president gave recently where he talked about training our young people. So we are going to be supplying the entire world,
Wow.
its workforce very soon. So it's exciting, and I think anyone would want to bet on Africa. Well, I know I am. I'm betting on this continent. Yes.
Yes, 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 yes. I just want to say thank you. Yes, Money with Club is three, yay, and this is part of the
Yay!
celebrations. We just give ourselves a pat on the back for the work done so far, and for everyone listening, I want to say thank you for your time. And of course, if you want any information about the club, we're always available on this page and all to give you your answers. Thank you so, so, so much. Thank you, Precious. Thank you for your time and have a
Thank you for
beautiful
having
day.
me. You too.
Thank
Bye